Hello, welcome to the fourth session of course Power Electronics. In previous class, we discussed about the commutation, where you will be having two different types of commutation, that is natural commutation and a forced commutation. With respect to forced commutation, you will be having two different types of commutations with respect to syllabus. For this course, you will be having two different types of a forced commutation. Normally, you will be having 6 groups of classification with respect to forced commutations. That is class A, class B, class C, class D, class E and class F commutation with respect to forced commutation. With respect to syllabus, you will be having a class A and class B. These two are the forced commutation for your course here. In previous class, we have discussed in detail about the class A commutation, where in a class A commutation, we are using a RLC circuit, where one with respect to parallel and another with respect to series here. And we have discussed about the design consideration with respect to both the series and a parallel circuit of your RLC circuit here. In today, we start with respect to class B commutations. Now, we are going with the circuit by using the class B commutation, and if you consider the circuit, I supposed to use some supply voltage. So, I will consider it as an Vs, that is supply voltage, where I will be having a polarity prescribing a plus and minus here. For this supply voltage, I have to use some thyristors. So, this will be my thyristor. I need to will be considered it as a thyristor. I need to turn off this particular thyristor by using some RLC circuit here. For this, I will go with respect to some there's inductance values, and here I will be using some capacitance value, where it will be connected with respect to some resistance value here. So, this will be the inductance and this will be the capacitance having a polarity plus and minus here, and this will be my resistance value here. So, these are all the components I am using to turn off my thyristors. So, this design will be called as an class B commutation here, and whatever the current here that will be flowing across this, I will be called as an load current. This will be my load current, and whatever the current flowing across these thyristors, that will be called as an thyristors current, and similarly you will be having a voltage across these particular thyristors, and I will call it as an voltage across the thyristor. This thyristor is nothing but we are using a SCR here. So, I will call it as an SCR current and a SCR voltage here. That is I suffix SCR and V suffix SCR. I need to measure voltage and current across this thyristor. So, if you consider this particular design, how it will be working. This will be the time. So, first I will take the current. This will be the gate current. I am applying some gate current across this particular thyristors. If I am assuming this current, I will be having it time constant, that will be 0, pi and pi by 2. So, if you consider this will be the one cycle, the complete this will be, that is 0, pi and 2 pi, and it will be 3 pi. The 0 to 2 pi will be considered as an one cycle. If you consider the sinusoidal signal, you will be having a one complete positive cycle with respect to 0 to pi, and another complete half cycle that will be in a negative part, that is pi to 2 pi here. So, what happens here, I will be using a SCR, so it will be conduct only with respect to positive cycle. I will be giving a trigger with respect to positive cycle here. So, I will be applying a gate current across your thyristor, that is SCR thyristors, in a positive cycle. So, it will be in a terms of a few angle. The firing angle will be very limited. So, it should not cross the 90 degree. And if you come to the second part, that is pi to 2 pi. When you consider the pi to 2 pi here, where you will be having a sinusoidal signal, where your signal will be located in the negative off cycle here. So, what happens here, when it will be located in a negative off cycle, your SCR will never conduct with respect to the negative off cycle. So, there will be no applying gate current with respect to the negative half cycle. So I will leave this block as usual, and again the cycle will be repeated in the next positive half cycle. So in the next positive half cycle, the initial stage, I will be applying some gate current here. So this will be repeated for every cycle. That means for every cycle of your signal, the positive cycle will be having, at the initial state you will be having some gate current that will be very limited, and again in the negative cycle there will be no applying of gate current, and it will be repeated for n number of cycles here. And appropriately with respect to this, I need to measure the load current. What is the load current? Means the current flowing across this resistance, I will be calling it as an load current, where it will be depending upon the gate current here. See, if you consider this case, when you apply the gate current here, what happens? The load current will also be maximum at this state. At this condition, the load current will also maximum when you apply a gate current. So for this complete cycle, that is 0 to 2 pi, your gate current will be maximum. I will consider the load current, that is the load current will be maximum for this particular positive half cycle of your signal, and when you come to the negative half cycle, where it has to drop down, where your cycle will be, the load current will be drop here, and again after come to the next cycle, that is 2 pi, again when you are applying a gate current, again your load current will be maximum, and this cycle will be repeated. This is with respect to the load current. So I measured the current across this particular resistance, and again when I am measuring the current across the SCR, the current across the SCR, that is nothing but I will be measuring the current across this particular thyristors. So if you consider this case, see here in the positive half cycle I am applying a gate current. Based on this I have got a load current with respect to maximum. So what happens here, whatever the signal that will be applied to your signal, that has to be retained with respect to positive half cycle. That means in your positive half cycle you will be having a sinusoidal signal. So I will consider it as a sinusoidal signal. So whatever the signal you have given as an input with respect to supply voltage, that has to be retained. The supply voltage is nothing but a AC supply voltage. We will be having a sinusoidal signal. So whatever the signal will be gathering with respect to 0 to pi, that is 0 to 90 degree, it will be retained. Again if you come to the negative half cycle, there will be no current flowing across your SCR. So whatever the signal it will never retain. So it will be considered as a 0 with respect to 90 degree to 180 degree, that is pi to 2 pi here. Sorry, it is not 90 degree, 180 degree to 360 degree. The 180 degree to 360 degree will be considered as an 0 here. And again the cycle will be repeated for the next cycle, that is whatever the signal it will be retained. This is with respect to the current measured across your thyristor SCR. Next, if you consider the voltage across the SCR, I have to measure the voltage across the SCR, that is VSCR. If you consider the voltage across the SCR, what happens here? If the current increases, the voltage has to be minimum. So in this condition, the voltage across the SCR will be minimum for the positive half cycle. When the current is reached to the minimum value, the voltage has to be maximum at that condition. So what happens here? Suddenly there will be a increase of voltage to the maximum level. So this will be considered as an T off. Your thyristors will be turning off in this condition. You are making your thyristors to turn off with respect to this condition. So for the next half cycle, your thyristors will be turned down. You are forcing your thyristor to move from a on state to off condition with respect to this design here. And the next cycle will be repeated again. Here also again you will be having a T off here. This will be considered as a T off. This is the waveform with respect to class B commutation. If you consider the design consideration, how you are designing your class B commutation. See, if you consider the design consideration, if I measure this particular, you will be having a component that is inductance, capacitance and a resistance value. If I consider this particular circuit, considering this circuit, I can write that is L into di by dt. Considering this circuit, I can write that is L into di by dt, that is the current flowing across this particular loop, plus I can write, you will be having a capacitance here, I can write it as an 1 divided by C integral of I of dt. So this will be the inductance and a capacitance with respect to a circuit. So this will be equal to 0 here. This will be equal to 0 with respect to this loop, where this can also be written as, that is L into, after differentiating this, d square into I divided by dt square plus 1 by C integral will be considered I of t. This will be the equation number, I will consider it as an equation number 1. This will be the equation number 2. This is the equation 1 and 2. Taking the Laplace transform to the above equation, that is Laplace transform to above equation, I can write this, that is L into d square I of t divided by dt square plus 1 by C I of t will be equal to 0. This can be written as, that is S square L plus 1 by C into I of S, where this will be equal to 0. Here, if see here, with respect to this condition, you will be having a d square I of divided by dt square. I can write that is S square into I of S, and you will be having inductance that can be written as L plus 1 by C. This I of t is nothing but I of S. If I am taking a common, that is I of S, if I am taking a common, that is I of S, I will get S square into L plus 1 by C into I of S. This will be equal to 0. So similarly here, therefore I of t can be written as VDC into root of C by L into sine omega naught t, where in this case omega naught will be equal to root of L by C. I can write this, omega naught will be equal to root of L by C. The peak current, that is the peak commutation current, the peak commutation current can be written as, that is IC peak. The IC is nothing but a commutation current. With respect to peak value, I can write it as IC of peak will be equal to VDC into root of C by L. See, in this case, when it is a peak, this T will be the considered as an, this sign of will become 1. So based on this above value, I can write this VDC into root of C by L. This value will become 1 at this point. So similarly, the T of can also be written as pi by 2 into root of L into C. So these are all the two values you need to consider while designing your class B commutation. That is the peak current of your commutation and off time of your commutation circuit here. This is with respect to commutation, that is forced commutation. The next topic is firing circuits. The firing circuits is nothing but, if you consider the firing is nothing but you are making your thyristor to be turn on at particular time, or you can also call it as an angle. That will be called as an firing angle. If you consider the firing circuits, you will be having three different types of firing circuits. The first one will be the resistance firing. The second one will be the resistance capacitance firing. In a resistance capacitance firing, you will be having two different types. The first one will be the half wave RC firing circuits, that is half wave resistance capacitance firing circuits. The second one will be the full wave RC firing circuit, that is full wave resistance capacitance firing circuit. This is with respect to RC firing circuit. The third one will be the UJT firing circuit. These are the three different types of firing circuits you will be studying in this course. Let's start with the resistance firing circuit. The first one will be the resistance firing circuit. This can be called as an resistance firing circuit or firing circuit or firing circuits, you can say. So what is this firing circuits means? If you consider firing circuits, you will be applying some voltage to trigger on your that is thyristors. To trigger on your thyristors, you are applying some input voltage where that voltage will be in terms of a 5 volt to 20 volt. If you consider any of your thyristors, the triggering voltage to turn on your thyristors will be varying from 5 volt to 20 volt. That is the range of your input voltage to trigger on your thyristors. While you are considering your thyristor, when your thyristors is working, it will be working with respect to applications. If you consider the electrical applications, your thyristors will be working with a range of more than 250 volts. The input voltage to trigger on will be 5 volt to 20 volt, but your thyristors working voltage will be maximum with respect to 250 volt. So there will be a huge variation when you consider the 5 volt to 20 volt and a more than 2 to 250 volt. So how you will be managing your thyristor to operate with respect to two voltage, that is two variation voltage, one will be the minimum and another will be the very, very maximum. For this, you are making your thyristors with respect to isolation. You are making your thyristors to have a isolation, where this isolation will help your thyristor to operate in both low voltage and also with respect to higher voltage. So how you are designing your isolation means by using a pulse transformer or a optocoupler transformer. You can use optocouplers or a pulse transformer to work as isolation with respect to your thyristors, with respect to working with respect to low voltage as well as your high voltage ratings here. So that is with respect to their firing circuits. If you consider the resistor firing, I will start with respect to the resistor firing. If you consider resistor firing, I will be having a circuit where this circuit I will be applying a supply voltage, where the supply voltage is a AC supply. AC supply Vs, that is I am applying a supply voltage here. Across this I will be having a load here. This load will be depending upon your applications here, and based on this I am applying, that is I will be connected with respect to some thyristors where this is my thyristors. I will call it as an thyristor, that is T. Across this, so this will be my complete circuit, where to work this thyristor, to operate this thyristor, I need to have some components. So these are the resistance components. Across this I will be called as a minimum resistance components, and this will be the variable resistance components, and I will be using some diode here. This will be the diode. And across the diode and the thyristors I will be using another resistance, so I will be called as an RB. So this is the circuit for my R firing circuits here. If you consider the R firing circuits, that is nothing but a resistance firing circuits, I will be having a component, that is supply voltage, that will be given across your thyristors as a input, where for your thyristors to work I will be having some load that will be depending upon the applications, and across these thyristors I will be using a 3 resistance value. One will be called as an minimum resistance and another will be called as an variable. This will be the variable resistance, and another resistance, that is R suffix B, this will be called as an stabilizing resistance. These are all the 3 different types of resistance we will be using, where across these 3 different types of resistance I will be using a diode here. This will be the diode here. So if you consider this particular circuit, how it will be working. See, this will be my time constant. Zero time, and it will be pi, 2 pi, and this will be the 3 pi. At the first stage, I will be applying some input voltage. This will be the input voltage, that is I am applying some supply voltage across your load or a thyristors here. So how you are applying your supply voltage means like this sinusoidal wave here. This is how we are applying a supply voltage across your circuit here. After applying a circuit, that is supply voltage across your circuit here, I need to measure the voltage across the capacitor. So how we will be measuring the voltage across the capacitor means if you consider with respect to this thyristor, if you consider the voltage will be measured across this, that means you are using only single diode here. Based on this particular thing, you will be initially charging. If you consider this as an complete circuit, so at the initial stage you will be having a voltage and it will be 0 at the whole circuit, and again you will, at the initial stage you will be having some voltage and it will be 0. So this will be the VC of your circuit for the given supply voltage. Similarly, if you consider output voltage, how you will be measuring the output voltage means, so this is the input voltage for your circuit. This will be the input voltage for your circuit. Based on this, after triggering your circuit, you will get the output voltage. So this will be the triggering time. So I will consider it as the alpha time required to trigger your circuit. So this will be the firing angle. I will consider it as an firing angle 2 pi. This will be the alpha plus 2 pi. So similarly, again you will be having that is alpha plus 2 pi. This will be your output voltage. How circuit will be working means, if you consider this case, the supply voltage, you are giving a supply voltage here. So you will be having a minimum resistance. Why you are applying a minimum resistance means, this minimum resistance will maintain your gate, that is gate current to be work with respect to some affordable current value with respect to your thyristor. Based on that, I can write that is R minimum should be greater than or equal to V in, that is nothing more supply voltage, divided by Ig minimum. This condition has to be, sorry, this is not a Ig minimum, this will be the Ig maximum, that is maximum gate current. So this minimum resistance has to be satisfy this value to work with respect to the thyristor. If this value is not satisfied with this condition, what happens here? Before reaching the minimum voltage, that is the threshold voltage what you have kept with respect to as a threshold voltage to trigger your thyristor to turn on, before reaching that particular voltage level or a voltage value, your thyristors will get turned on. To avoid that turn on, that is turning on your thyristor before reaching the firing angle, you have to maintain this minimum resistance value. So maintaining this minimum resistance value with appropriate this equation, you can manage your false triggering of your circuit, and where your circuit can trigger on at a particular point. And one thing you need to be remember, the triggering angle should not cross 90 degree here. It should be before the triggering angle should be the less than the 90 degree with respect to this circuit here. And if you consider this resistance, this will be called as an variable resistance, where this variable resistance will make your output to be appropriately work based on your load conditions here, and you will be having a, that is Rb, that will be called as a stabilizing resistance. This will help your thyristors to stabilize with respect to some conditions. So these are all the three resistance value helping for your firing circuit with respect to resistance firing circuits. The second topic will be with respect to firing circuits. I will go with respect to RC firing. RC firing. In RC firing, already said that is you will be having two different types. The first will be the half wave RC firing. Half wave RC firing circuits, and another will be the full wave RC firing circuit. The RC is nothing but resistance capacitance firing circuit. If you consider this case, I will be having a supply voltage. This will be considered as a supply voltage. So this will be the AC supply voltage. I will consider V suffix S. This will be a AC supply voltage, and across this I will be connecting a load here. This will be my load. And this circuit I will be connecting my thyristors. So this will be my thyristor here. This will make complete circuit. To work for this thyristor to half wave RC firing circuit, I need to connect. This will be my one diode. I will consider it as an D1, and across this I will be connecting another diode. I will consider it as an D2. I will be using two diodes with respect to half wave RC firing circuit, that is D1 and D2. These are all the two diodes, where for this I will be connecting, this will be my capacitance, and you will be connecting a resistance value across your diode D2. This will be my variable resistance. I will be using a variable resistance across the D2, and across the thyristor and the diode D1 I will be connecting a capacitance here. So if you consider this circuit, I can write the waveform. So this will be my input, that is supply voltage. I will consider it as an supply voltage, where the supply voltage will be an sinusoidal here. The supply voltage will be an sinusoidal. So I will be writing a sinusoidal waveform for your supply voltage. This will be my supply voltage. So based on this, I need to measure the VC. Therefore, if you consider the VC, that is capacitor voltage here across these conditions, I can at the initial state your capacitor voltage will be minimum, that is very minimum, that is peak of your voltage will be considered as a peak of your voltage, where it will be maximum at this particular value. So this will be considered as an minimum, and for the negative cycle it will be negative only, and again for the positive cycle it will be considered as like this. So this will be the VC of your circuit. And if you measure the output voltage, I can write your output voltage as like this. See, this will be your output voltage. This will be the output voltage for your circuit. I will call as this will be your firing angle, where you need to have some equation, that is your RC value should be greater than the 1.3 times of your divided by 2 times of your frequency. You need to monitor this the equation to work as your resistance capacitance firing circuit. So if you consider this circuit, how it will be working means, you will be connecting a thyristors, where this thyristor is nothing but a SCR thyristors, where across this SCR thyristor you will be using a two diodes. How they are working? The diode 1 and diode 2, where diode 2 will make your capacitor to charge at the negative cycle. Say based on this capacitor, that is diode D2, your capacitance will charge at the negative cycle, and it will, here I will be having some resistance value. This resistance will make your thyristors to not triggered at the negative cycle. This resistance will help your thyristors to not trigger at the negative cycle. So based on this D2, your capacitance will be charged only with respect to negative cycle, and you will be having another that is diode, that will be the D1, where this will be charged at the positive cycle. So this will be the charge with respect to the positive cycle, where your thyristors will get turned on with respect to diode D1 here. This is with respect to half wave RC firing circuits. You need to follow this equation, that is this will be the design equation with respect to resistance capacitance, where your resistance capacitance should be, the combination of RC should be greater than or equal to this value, that is 1.3 divided by the 2 times of the whatever the frequency you have chosen with respect to supply voltage here. And the next one, if you consider the next one with respect to resistance capacitance firing circuit, that is full wave RC firing circuit. The second one will be the full wave RC firing circuit. And for both this half wave firing circuit, that is RC firing circuit, and a full wave RC firing circuit, the triggering angle can be varied from 0 degree to 180 degree. Where for your R firing circuit, that is a resistor firing circuit, the triggering angle will be varying from 0 to 90 degree, but with respect to RC firing circuit, it can be varied from a 0 to 180 degree. If you consider the full wave, the circuit here also, for the full wave, I need to design some rectifier circuit, where for your rectifier circuit you will be using a bridge rectifier. That means you have to use 4 diodes that should be connected across your thyristor. So these are all the I will taking this as an load. This will be a load. Across this load, I will giving a supply voltage, that is AC supply, that is Vs, that will be connected across the another diode. This will be considered as a diode 1, and this will be the diode 2, and this will be the diode 3, and this will be the diode 4. Where with respect to your AC supply voltage, one point will be connected in between the diode 1 and a diode 4, and another point of the supply voltage, that is negative and a positive. The positive will be connected across the diode D1 and D4, where your negative supply voltage will be connected across the diode D3 and D4 here. And this will be considered as an thyristors. This will be my thyristors, where it will be connected in between the variable resistance and a capacitance. If you consider this circuit, I will be applying some input voltage. How it will be working means, I will be applying some input voltage, where that voltage will be having a sinusoidal signal. If you consider this will be my supply voltage, where it will be having a sinusoidal signal. This will be my sinusoidal signal. Where if you consider this circuit, based on this supply voltage, I will be applying this supply voltage across this circuit here. Based on this diode, that is diode D1, D2, D3 and D4, where these are acting like a rectifier. So, if you measure the signal across this rectified voltage, that is rectified voltage across RC circuit. If you measure the rectified voltage across the RC circuit, where all your signal will get rectified, this will be my rectified signal. If you measure the capacitance voltage across this, if you measure the capacitance voltage across this signal, I can write this as an, so this will be like your signal, rectified signal. This will be the input of your rectified signal for the capacitance. So I can write this as an like this. This will be the voltage across the capacitance. If you measure the output voltage, how your output voltage will be written means, it will also having a input signal like this. That is, the input signal is nothing but a rectified voltage input signal. So based on this, I can write this will be the signal. So this will be the alpha. This will be the triggering angle, that is firing angle for your full wave rectifier circuit, that is full wave RC, that is resistance capacitance firing circuit. And here you need to measure some, that is RC should be having an equation that has to be managed, that is RC should be greater than or equal to 0.157 divided by the 2 pi f. You need to follow this design consideration for your full wave RC firing circuit to work as a firing, that is firing circuit. This with respect to second type of your firing circuits. In next class, we are going to discuss about the UJT firing circuit. That will be the third type of your firing circuits.